the girl accidentally discovered her father's secret. Recently, her father had been coming home very late every day, and whenever he went out, he would cover himself up tightly. One day on her way home she heard that the police were looking for a murderer, whose characteristics were very similar to her father's. They also mentioned that his right hand had severe burn marks. That night, her father disappeared, leaving only a letter behind. At this point, the girl had already guessed that her father was the murderer, but because she didn't want her father to be caught by the police, she followed the instructions in the letter, and erased all traces of her father from the house. Everything he had used, and every word he had written, was burned and destroyed by the girl. To prevent the police from further investigating, she went directly to her father's office, took the files and pay stubs, and deliberately wiped away all of her father's fingerprints. Over a decade has passed, and there has been no news of her father. However, every year on her birthday, the girl would receive a gift from her father. Strangely, there were no traces of her father's fingerprints on the packages or gifts. The girl, who had been deprived of her father's love, desperately hoped her father would return to her side, until a man appeared, reigniting her hope. This man's physical appearance was strikingly similar to her father's, and his mental resilience was extremely fragile. He frequently suspected himself of murder. Most importantly, his right hand bore scars similar to her father's. The girl decided to create a scapegoat for her father. First, she played soothing music for the patient. This music sounded calming, but was most effective at stirring inner anxiety. Then she prescribed him medications that easily induced anxiety, causing him to lie awake all night. When he was mentally unstable, she guided him to recite the prepared lines, implanting the idea of murder into the man's subconscious. She then administered hallucinogens to him. She plastered his home with photos of the victim, and disguised herself as the corpse to appear in the patient's home, fabricating a murder scene. By this point, the man had been terrified into a state of collapse, his mind consumed with the desire to turn himself in.